Hi everyone and welcome to Dodo Bird Drawing. In today's Drawing an Extinct Animal video, I'm going to be drawing the Baiji or Yangtze River dolphin again, but this time in a new style. So, without any further ado, let's roll the intro and let's get started. Okay, so I have my reference images that I'll be scrolling through all pulled up, and I'm starting with the basic sketch. So initially I start off with a very different position for the Baiji than I end up going with, kind of more than like an upright curved position, I guess you could say, like an action pose would be the best way to put it, but I end up scrapping it later on and going with more traditional, like just straight on position. And the main thing I really keep from this initial sketch is the tail, because I do really like how the tail came out. I make a few tweaks to it, but other than that, I do keep the tail basically as is. So right there, I erased the part I didn't want, and I take the tail and make it slightly bigger because it was a bit small for the drawing I would want. I place it there, and then I move on to doing the rest of the body once I had moved the tail into the correct position. So I start off with the back and go like that and keep going, realize that I am getting the head position and shape rather wrong for the drawing, so I redraw the back, make it a bit longer, and eventually get something I'm somewhat happy with for the head shape. I then draw in the snout, beak, not beak, but maybe beak, snout, I don't know exactly what it's called on a dolphin. The mouth long thing, kind of like a snout, I guess you would say. I don't know. Anyway, I smooth that out a bit more with the rest of the body just to make it a bit more consistent with the rest of the body, make it like smoothed out basically. And then I believe I do the fins at this point. So I do the front fin like so, going through there, extending it a bit so it's a bit over the body as well, and making a few tweaks there. And then I draw in the back fin to show a bit of depth. Then after that, I move on to draw the fin that's on the back. I start off with something, don't like how it is, draw it in, it's a bit too far forward, so I scrap it and move it a bit further back, like so, and that is ultimately something I'm happy with, so I stick with that. I make the new layer for me to actually add in the color for the drawing, and so now I begin coloring in the Baiji, and as a heads up, this is mostly me filling it in with gray. I mean, I add in details later, but at least in the beginning part, it's a lot of just adding in a bunch of gray, and that's about it. Just because that's mostly what it was. It was a gray animal, like most dolphins tend to be. While there are exceptions to the rule, it was not one of the exceptions to the rule. And so, therefore, most of this drawing is going to be a lot of gray. So I have most of the head, I have all the head colored in as well as most of the body. And then I'm moving on to the rest of the body like so, going all through there, and then through there, and then I do the little back fin, and then I go through there, finishing up the body, and then moving on to do the tail, like so, going through there, and there, and there, and there, and there. Then with most of it colored in, I then move on to coloring in the fins, like so. I get a bit of a darker shade of gray to use for the like shading lines. I don't know why it took me so long to think of that word. And then I use also that darker shade of gray for the fin in the back, again, to show depth in the drawing. Okay, so at this point I start coloring in the highlights for kind of like the belly, underbelly of the dolphin, and a bit on the face as well. And I end up using this light gray color to show off the highlights on the drawing. So I just add a bit in the face, and then I move on, going all the way through the body, adding in some amount of it throughout the underbelly of the Baiji. I then do a bit more stuff on the face just to make it a bit closer to the images I saw in terms of like a pattern, I guess you could say, in terms of how it looked on the face. I then do my normal electric blue eye, adding in the pupil and the little light glint. I then do a bit of tweaks to round it off a bit more, I think. Yes, I round it off a bit more, like so, I think, yeah. And then I add in a bit more of that underbelly thing, but on the snout beak, I guess, like this time. And then I draw in the smile. It comes out kind of crooked initially, so I do fix it a bit later. I think I fix it now, right? Yeah, I fix it now. Like so. I then do a bit of more tweaks to the eyes, like that, and then I fix the tweaks I made just to make it a bit more smoother in terms of the rest of the drawing, like so. I then move on to, I do remove the outline at this point, and I begin erasing the drawing, which takes, I do a bit more tweaks on the, like the markings on the face, and add in a blowhole. And then I start erasing a lot of the drawing. It takes me a while to do this correctly. Let's put it that way. It takes a lot longer than other drawings have, I think, to get it to look right. And yeah, just in general, it takes a while because I keep accidentally like causing too much to be erased, I guess you could say. And so getting it to look like nice and smooth takes a minute because I keep accidentally removing too much and it ends up not being completely perfect, I will admit. But at least I tried. And that's what's important. And then I believe I added in the shading line between the two fins at this point, as I didn't have that previously. So I do the tweaks there, to smooth it out there, and then I believe, yes, I do add in the shading line between the two fins to show again that there is some sort of depth there. Then do more erasing, but this time on the underbelly, like so, going all the way through there, and there, and then I keep going, and I keep going, and this takes a while, but I keep going, and I keep going, and I go through there, and there, and through there. I do a bit more smoothing on the tail now, after finishing smoothing out the underbelly. So I go through there. Yes, I round off that one a bit more, like so, and I go through there, and then through there, and then up here this time, and then I go through there, and like that, and then do I move on to like, and then go back to working on smoothing out the body, like so. And this also takes a while because of various mistakes that are made in terms of how much is smoothed off. But I do stuff there, and then I move on to doing a bit more through here, and through there. I undo a bit of what I did because I didn't like how it turned out. And so then I go back to doing more, like so, and I go through there, and then I do more. This takes a while if you couldn't tell. I undo a bit more of it because I didn't like how it looked. And then I think I reduce the hardness on the eraser to make it slightly easier, and it does end up working a bit easier because it's not going to be as rough in terms of the edges, at least I think is what ended up happening. So then I realized it does not look very good. So I color it in a bit more with, well, I may have realized it didn't look good earlier and knew I needed to fix it, but then I fix it definitely there. Do a bit more through there and some eraser work. And that concludes my drawing of the Baiji, or the Yangtze River dolphin. So what do you think of my drawing of the Baiji? Let me know in the comments down below. What extinct animals do you want me to draw in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!